I love that movie. We decided in 2019, in February of 2019, Tony and I both quit our full-time jobs. We went all in on Why Not You. Social media and digital marketing in this business changed my life. I said this when I spoke to you guys last, like we built our business on cigars, man. I always say this to you guys, like I respect the shit out of what you guys do and how consistent you guys have been. How do you break the threshold? Do more, get better. Yeah. And just because you might have 100,000 followers, like you said, it doesn't mean that you're gonna get 30,000 people to buy something from you. Believe it or not, that method will never change. Why? Because it's about connecting. Mm-hmm. That's where people kind of get caught up in this world where it's like they're chasing views, and followers, and because they're not building a true fan base.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Burn Down podcast. In the studio, we have our good friend Francis Volpe, co-founder of Why Not You Media. They help businesses create social media content, get on the board, and get on the horn with social media. They also helped us make the original Blueprint label.
They did.
We did.
Trek 2 hours of traffic in the rain. Francis, what's up, my brother?
What's going on, guys?
Welcome.
I appreciate you guys having me.
No, thanks. I mean, we were on your show. You got to come on our show. Tony was on our show. We got to get you on our show.
Yeah,
I mean,
Tony was on one of the originals, wasn't he?
in Doc James.
I think it was like 2020. Back in the day.
That's crazy.
At Doc James, yeah.
That episode, you actually asked me to be a groomsman.
Yeah, that was 2020.
So that's how long back, because you've been married for 2 years, have a kid on the way.
Yep.
Holy, yo.
Lots of change, kid.
That's mind-blowing. Time has flown.
I know, dude. And now, and you walked in here like, whoa, big difference from like when you guys first started.
Oh, yeah. You guys have a beautiful spot now. It feels like you have your own cigar lounge in your backyard.
It's essentially what it's for Justin, yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. I love it.
I love it. Come out here, stogie, cup of coffee, maybe a glass of bourbon.
Call it a day.
Got the TV back here. Actually, I don't even use the TV anymore. I just bring up like an iPad or something.
Really?
Yeah.
You can watch games in here and it's fucking perfect.
I do. Yeah.
It's the best, dude.
I spent the whole afternoon watching when March Madness, like the first round.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck work. I'm going out here. I'm liking a stogie, man.
I don't blame you.
So with pairing our stogie, you brought us a nice gift in the Why Not You Media bag.
Of course.
What do we got?
Everything.
What do we got here? Please.
Got a little bottle of Josh.
Classic.
And then, a little something.
A little red wine.
Oh, there's something else?
There's a little something. There's a little...
What's
this?
Open
that up. What is that? It's a little extra?
It's a little extra gift. Here we go. What is this?
A little extra gift for you.
Oh, Why Not You Media?
Bang!
Wine
stopper.
You know the wine stopper.
Yeah,
there you go.
Dude, these are great.
Yeah,
these are perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
With the amount of wine that I drink,
let's go. Let's pour it up.
Let's open it up. Come on, let's open it up.
For it.
You're John.
I'll open
Justin's
this up,
the wine connoisseur. So
all right, you open it because that thing will end up exploding all over.
So while Justin does that, let's tell the people who Francis is. What's Why Not You Media? How'd you get here? What's the autobiography on yourself, my friend?
Yeah. So Why Not You Media? So it's myself, my two business partners, Tony Peck and Michael Capozzi. We got a team of 10 individuals that work with us, helping people navigate like the world of social media and digital marketing, from content creation, videography, photography, consulting on all things brand, all things marketing, advertising, because they are three totally different things. Paid advertising, so running the actual ads through the different social platforms, and then website development. So those are the 4 things that we specialize in. That's where our expertise is in. And we worked with clients, we've had the chance of working with clients all over the country. We've gotten to speak all over the country, and, we have some, amazing accolades to follow it. But honestly, we don't have a same day. Like our days are always different, and we love that. And, I get to meet some amazing individuals, met you guys, through all that. It's just been an amazing experience, and we're 5 years in now.
Wow. So you need that differentiation between your day, otherwise you get burnt out. It becomes monotonous. You get bored. You need to change it up. Each and every day is different.
Absolutely. And like when we first started, thank you. When we first started, it was, we were with each other, because Michael was working full time when we first started, and then
was he an engineer as well?
Yeah, so him and Tony have engineering degrees. They both went to Manhattan College. I went to Assumption College, which is now Assumption University, and I'm the only one with a business degree. obviously we know having a degree in business, having a degree in anything today doesn't really mean anything unless you're trying to become a doctor or a lawyer.
Doesn't mean shit.
Doesn't mean shit.
I talk about it all the time because I had an engineering degree and I don't use any of it.
I mean, companies nowadays, they're starting to say we don't need a bachelor degree. You don't need a bachelor degree to get a job.
Honestly,
like, you use maybe, like I always say, okay, I use maybe like 10%.
Okay.
But now, like, especially if you go into different sectors, like being in sales, like if you want to be in sales or in business, you want to own a business or anything like that, you don't need to go and have like a business degree or go and have.
You need to understand people, man.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. And like, look, it goes back to, Tony's our sales guy. He's our customer acquisition. He has an engineering degree, but the thing that he's so good at is dealing with people. He understands people. He understands relationships. And like that stuff is what sets him apart, right? It just, the degree, cool. Doesn't matter. But it's like, if you could speak to people and connect to people, I don't care what type. You can have a degree in philosophy. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
But that's what kind of helps us so much is because like Tony has his pillar, Michael has his pillar, and I have mine. And we're able to just kind of work together where when we first started the company, we were always together. Now there's like a blind trust. Like I'm here right now 2 hours away and like they're both sitting in the office still like getting things situated for work and for the golf outing in June. So it's just a beautiful dynamic. I always tell them that I feel like we've come together because of like divine intervention, just because of the way our paths kind of crossed.
How did you guys even collect ideas together and form a company?
Yeah, so when we first started, so Tony and I went to Fordham Prep together in the Bronx. Michael and Tony have known each other since they were, I think, about 7 years old.
Oh, wow.
So they've been friends ever since. So what happened, and I'll kind of make the story short, Tony started building Instagram pages, right? He had 13 pages.
The Ace of Cigars.
Yes,
Ace of
Cigars.
That's how we got. That's how
we found him.
Knew Tony. Tony had Ace of Cigars, and he's like,
by the way, salute,
Francis. Cheers to you, brother.
Thank you for bringing us.
Cheers, chin chin. Salute. Thanks for coming out.
No, thank you guys.
Yeah, and, I tell a story all the time. Like I knew Tony before he was the godfather of Instagram because we used to bullshit on Instagram, and then we ended up having some mutual connections, and then one thing led to another, and just became friends.
No, it power of social media, right? Yeah. It's crazy how you think back. What was that, 5-6 years ago or whatever, and here we are now. Mm-hmm. I think I actually remember when he told me he connected with you guys. It was like, because when we started and like Tony was building these pages, we would talk about like who we connected with and all this stuff. But long story short, I was working in insurance, and I actually tried getting Tony to come work with me in insurance. And ironically, this is not going to surprise you, Tony's still in touch with the guy that we were going to work for, to this day, John Selena. Yeah,
is he doing? Are you guys doing work for them?
No, we don't do work for them. But the guy, like, he's still in insurance, and Tony and him still communicate.
What kind of insurance were you doing?
It was like at the time it was New York Life, so life insurance, things like that. It's very typical graduate college, get into type shit. And I was trying to get Tony to come work for me, and I was like, "Yo, we can make our own team. Like, this guy's gonna teach us everything. Like, we'll really, we'll do it big." And Tony was all about it. Like, he was gonna come down, meet with the guy. Like, we were all for it. And then I broke my leg, like, horribly. I got a plate and 9 screws in my left leg.
How did you do that?
Playing football. Backyard
football, no pads.
Yeah, so literally, So I graduated.
Tackle football, no pads.
No, so I graduated. I played college football, and then I graduated, and I wanted to keep playing. And there was like these competitive flag football leagues in different towns. The one actually in Eastchester. Remember, Tony Panio?
Sounds extremely familiar.
Okay, so he had a league in Eastchester.
Yeah.
I graduated college, and I was like, you know what? Let me keep playing. And it was very competitive. Like, people think flag. No, this is basically like 7, 8 to 9 men on a field.
Those leagues are.
No, I played in a couple of them.
Blowing each other up.
I used to have a buddy that did it in Brooklyn, and he would show me videos. I mean, it was the NFL without pads.
No, you get lit up. You get lit up, man.
Yeah, like the league I play in now, like you're allowed to stiff arm, not to the face, but to the chest, and it's full go.
Are you playing 7-on-7?
So the one that I broke my leg in was 7-on-7.
So that one you have a 5-yard bump. You could bump on the line too.
Yeah,
if you're playing some of the 5-on-5s, there's like no bumping, but you get bumped. I remember playing I went from a 5-on-5, and somebody had like a little weekend tournament, and they're like, "Hey, Justin, you want to play? It's a 7-on-7." I'm like, "All right." And I was still playing in the 5-on-5, so I'm thinking like being wide receiver. I was like, "All right, guy's gonna play like 5 yards off, and I'm just gonna blow past him, right?"
Yeah.
He was right on. Like, what is it? Cover
pressing.
Like,
he's pressing you. Yeah.
And as
cover
soon as
0.
First player, cover 0. First play, he's just like, bam, shoving hard. I was just like, it kind of like shook me for a second. So I was like, I wasn't ready for it.
Yep.
And he's just like, bam, like pressing me on the line. I was like, the fuck is this? And then he goes, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, like, you can press on here. I was like, oh, okay. So
yeah, it's a game changer.
Now you gotta, all right, now I gotta.
Yeah, it's a complete.
I wasn't ready for it. I was like, I'm just gonna run. He just fucking shoves me.
They have these 9-man leagues, and they have like nationals and stuff like that, and like they have there's former NFL players that go down. Like it's insane. But I broke my leg really bad playing in a game, got caught up, whatever, got surgery, and then Tony was like, yo, why don't you help me manage these accounts? And I was just like, yeah, let's do it. So we split the accounts, and he's like, anything that we make, we'll split, 50-50, or I forget exactly what we came up with back then. And I'll never forget, I still have the original screenshot of the first PayPal payment that he sent me. It was like $1.27. And the reason that we started making a little bit of money from it, not much, like barely anything, is people would reach out and say, hey, can you post my photo? Can you shout us out? And we were like, yeah, sure. They were like, how much? I don't know, $3, $5, $4. We had no idea what we were doing. So we started doing that, growing the pages, and then obviously we had to get full-time jobs. So Tony went into project management, and then I studied to get my mortgage license. So I was a loan officer, and we stayed connected. Tony started a networking group called Diamond Networking Group. Just, I don't know, he tends to go with like the premium name.
Apex Networking.
Yeah. Prestige worldwide. That's gonna be the next one. When you go global, it's gonna be Prestige worldwide.
And we'll do a Boats and Hose remix.
Hell yeah. I want to be a part of that.
I can see you and Tony and on the boat.
Come on, man. I want to be a part of that music video.
Great. What's done is done, Dad. You gonna invest or not?
I love that movie.
Classic. We just had that. What episode was that? We talked about top movies, and that was like
there was like one or two directors that made all those hilarious, like Pineapple Express, Superbad.
Yep.
There was only like a couple of directors that made all those, so we just went through like our top 3 comedy movies from 2000 to 2010.
Yeah,
I mean, I forgot what I picked, because
we said that era, that decade,
Dodgeball,
Brothers, my gosh,
Superbad.
Superbad. When Superbad came out, that was a game changer because it was so relatable,
so accurate.
Oh my gosh!
And we were in high school, so it was like
it was perfect.
Couldn't be any more relatable.
And that's the type of movie though that you can watch 100 times and laugh the same way every time.
And they don't make them like that anymore.
No, they don't. And you could predict the line and say the line with the actor and with Jonah Hill and still laugh. Like McLovin, I think they need to. He can make an argument for one of the most iconic characters in a movie because our generation, if you say McLovin, everyone knows what you're talking about.
Yeah,
100%.
There's no
100%.
I would actually feel extremely uncomfortable if I said McLovin and they said who? What is that from? I would be like,
dude, it's coming.
You're a serial killer. I gotta get the fuck out.
Like, do you live under a rock?
Yeah,
type shit.
It's coming. You talk to some of the young early 20s now.
Man.
I forget. No idea.
Yeah, I forgot.
So my cousin's 19, and I remember I texted him. Did I text him asking if he knew who Jadakiss was?
Oh God,
I forget who. I if I go back in my text, I can find it. But I asked him oh, do you know who this artist is? And he was like, no, I have no idea who that is. And I was like, yo, you gotta be kidding me.
It's like not knowing who Tupac is.
No, but you said you hit it on the head. It's coming.
I was in a restaurant in Jersey, and this was I think this was last year, and I was with a whole bunch of guys, a big sales crew, and I was talking to the guys on my end of the table, and we were talking about My Cousin Vinny. Mm-hmm. And we were talking the two Utes and what the heck is a Ute, and I wore this ridiculous
fun fact about
thing.
that line. That's the only line that what's his face
that he ad-libbed.
Everything else he said, I thought the script was perfect. I didn't have to adjust anything. The only part where I ad-libbed was Utes.
Wow,
isn't that wild?
I was talking to these guys, and we're just cracking up. I'm laughing, going back and forth, So now the waitress comes over, and we were howling. And I was like. And she comes over to take our drink, and it's in the middle of us howling. So I asked her, I was like, "Hey, do you know My Cousin Vinny?" And she's like, "Who?" I said, "My Cousin Vinny." You know My Cousin Vinny? She goes, "How would I know your cousin Vinny?"
Oh,
I said, "I
automatic deduction on your tip."
I put my head in my hands. I said,
20% went to 16%.
I'm like, the movie, My Cousin Vinny. You've never seen the movie. She goes, "I don't know what you're talking about." I said, "All right, quit your job right now. Go home, watch this movie." Okay, this is.
Look, I don't know if he'll ever watch this. Michael, my business partner, has ever watched Goodfellas.
Oh, it's the greatest movie ever made.
Or he's never even watched The Sopranos.
Oh my God. Well, that's one of my one buddies. He he's not a big movie guy, but he says Wedding Crashers is overrated, and I'm like, bro. I don't know if I can be his friend anymore.
Upsetting.
Stop. We got stage 5 clear.
Yeah.
That's upsetting, man. That movie.
That is one of the most quotable movies ever.
Like that crew, the Owen Wilsons, the Will Ferrells, the Adam Sandlers, the Rob Schneiders, the Vince Vaughns, the
Adam Sandler movies,
the Ben Stillers.
Ben Stillers.
These guys are so quotable. Like, dude, how many times? Like, one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies of all time is Waterboy.
Oh,
like
100%.
Come on. Dude. Like, and now, well, hold on. Did you guys hear the rumor that they're coming out with a Happy Gilmore 2?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know how to feel about it.
Okay, so
I don't know what to feel.
I'm nervous.
I'm nervous.
I'm nervous too.
I saw what they said, like, oh, this is the cast, right? And they had the people. But then I found out later that somebody threw that together imagine if this was the ideal cast.
Oh,
and it turns out, because they were saying that Chubbs Jr. was going to be Tiger Woods. And then Virginia
Sydney
Bennett.
Sweeney was going to be a cart girl.
Yeah, Virginia Bennett was going to be Paige Spiranak. And I go, all right, I don't know. I'm like, this would literally be the greatest golf movie ever if this cast was in it. And then somebody said, this is like an April Fool's joke or whatever. This isn't actual. This is. I said, how are you going to? You can't build me up like that.
Yeah, no.
Just like when they said Tiger was in the Masters on April Fool's, I didn't even know it was April Fool's. And it says Tiger withdraws from the Masters. And I go, what? And then I find out later, oh, fuck, that was April Fool's.
I think everyone got caught with an April Fool's joke. I got caught with a few.
Yeah.
I got caught with a few.
You forget because, like, look, you guys, we all work, so it's like sometimes these days blend together, and I don't even realize that it's April 1st.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm like, wait a second, I gotta take a step back and go, what's the day on the calendar? It's April 1st. People are messing around today. But like I was saying, because I know I could talk about Adam Sandler in those movies all day.
Oh, we go off on tangents.
My wife is like, I don't want to do any. If I have to die, if I die tomorrow, I just want to do one thing, and that's meet Adam Sandler. That's all I want to do. She is like the biggest Adam Sandler.
Supposedly he's a gem.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, supposedly he's a gem.
And he's a good basketball player.
Well, you ever see that video of him, like, he'll go down to, like, New York City if he's, like, because I think he has a place in Brooklyn or something, and, like, he'll go to the courts and, like, play basketball with, like, random kids.
And, it's funny, every time you see him, you know it's Adam Sandler. Not just by, like, because you can see it's Adam Sandler, but the way he dresses.
Oh, my God.
He wears, like, those old basketball shoes, like the Starberries.
There's a great...
And he's got triple X shorts down his calves, and he's playing in, like, a yellow polo.
Yes.
If you YouTube Adam Sandler, there's a great 20-minute documentary about him, how he's just the man. He just did everything that he wanted to do. Brought all his friends with him.
Yep.
And, like, didn't listen to nobody.
You know his house... where he grew up, his parents still live there.
Yeah.
And his room still looks the same. It's like a shrine now.
Oh my God.
It's like unbelievable that you think about it, this guy has all this fame and his parents are just like, nah, we're gonna stay in the same house.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have to do nothing, obviously. But if you think, but it's so crazy because I think it was when they came out with what was that new movie? Hustle? Was that the new movie?
Yeah.
So they kind of did like a kind of a background on Adam Sandler about like his like love for basketball. And that was part of it, and it was just so interesting to see. First off, that movie was unbelievable. I loved that movie. It was a great movie. Honestly, seeing him in serious movies like Uncut Gems and things like that.
Uncut Gems is a true story, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a true story.
I didn't know that.
So, but like he had to go down there and study and like understand like the culture and how they walked and talked and all these different things. Like he really like embodied that character. But like when you watch him those serious movies, it's like, damn, like. This guy was making like Billy Madison and like Big Daddy,
but he's a convincing serious actor.
Yeah,
in these roles.
Yeah. Like he's honestly, he's got the type of brand and the type of name that like if you saw him and like if he came out with the most like a drama, I think everyone would still go see it just because it's him.
Well, he did. Didn't he come out with what's that space one? Spaceman. It's a new one on Netflix. Apparently, I don't know. I haven't watched it, but it says that it's a drama.
Okay. And
it's him. He's in space. He's an astronaut, and I think he winds up being alone, and he's battling. He has like a struggling marriage or something's going on, and he winds up. There's like an alien that comes on his ship and like helps him deal with
his marriage.
I don't know.
It's a therapist alien.
I don't know.
I have to talk to my wife. Oh, okay.
I don't know, but it's. I think it's about a guy who's got some. He's struggling in his marriage, in his life, in a lot of these things. He goes up there and he's all alone. And
let me guess, you find out he's actually like schizophrenic.
I don't know. I didn't watch the movie, but
that's like a Sixth Sense.
But it didn't say comedy. It just said like
drama.
sci-fi.
Check it out.
So I was like,
all right.
Every time he comes out with a movie on Netflix, it's number one. Like every time.
It was up. It was up in the top 10. I was like, Adam Sandler is an astronaut. What the hell is this?
I don't know. That's interesting.
And I look at the preview too, and it's some
this
weird ass alien.
I want to go back to Why Not You Media. What was because we're waiting for this day. What was the day like when you realized, all right, our side hustle, our business is now our full-time business, and I can quit my 9 to 5. What was that feeling like? Like, when was that realization?
Yeah. So Tony and I quit. So it's funny. So Tony was, like I said, in project management, and I was working as an LO, and I was also doing professional stunt work at the time as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
You were a stunt man?
Yeah. I was.
What movie? You told me
I was on Power. I was on.
Were you really?
Yeah, I was in Wu-Tang Clan Saga.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Shit. There's a movie coming out with Ryan Gosling called The Fall Man about him being a stunt man.
Well, dude, stunt people, and like, look, I hope maybe a stunt man sees this episode. Like, stunt people don't get enough credit. Like, the one thing I'll tell you this, the one thing about the stunt community, and like I was in it and very ingrained in it for 4 years until Why Not You got really busy, and I really didn't have the time. And also, like, look, it's a treacherous job. Like, you're on set.
How injured did you get?
So like when it comes to stunts, you kind of niched in a sense, right? So I had colleagues that would do fighting, falling, guns, burns, driving, fall, like they did everything. Like they were like the full package stuntman. And then you had individuals like myself that did falls, guns, fighting. Like that was what I only wanted to do, because in New York, everything that they film has like that street vibe to it, like Law and Order, Power, Wu-Tang Clan, all these different things. So I was able to kind of fit that mold. But look, there was stunt people in the community, broken arms, torn ligaments, like you name it, death. Like it wasn't uncommon for you to hear about someone like getting seriously hurt on set, because there's so many safety measures that go into it. But I'll tell you this about the stunt community is the amount of talent that is in that group of people is unbelievable. Like you have former martial artists, black belts. You have people that are highly trained in Krav Maga, like all these different things. So I had the chance to train with all these people, former Army Rangers for learning how to use guns and things of that sort. But that community is so creative. And that's what really kind of like propelled me to like say, you know, I love content. I love creating. I love coming up with ideas. And I will always give them their flowers. Like always, you know, like I always shout out my guy Chaz Menendez on podcast, because like he was a mentor for me, and like just being around that community, I was like, all right, I could see myself maybe not doing stunts for the rest of my life because of just the volatility of the job, but I can always see myself being in a creative space. And like I have dreams and like aspirations of directing, you know, music videos and things like that one day, but it was just getting to see the ins and outs of movie and television production. It's like, it's really unbelievable, man. Like, cause things change on a dime. Like I remember doing a 5-hour rehearsal for Power, because we were doing a scene where we had to shoot and fight Dre under like in a, like this place in Brooklyn. And we did a 5-hour rehearsal the day before shooting. So we had, I think call time the next morning was like 6 a.m. So we're on set, we're going through the motions. Director comes on set, right? Director, out of all people, I was like, I was with vets, like 10, 15-year vets on set, and director comes up to me. So what we got going on? I was like, all right, damn, I guess I'm gonna show I'm gonna show them what's going on. So I start walking through the motions. I go through the falls, go through what we were going through. Legitimately goes, we're changing the whole thing. I go, oh, okay. Like, well, 5-hour rehearsal. There goes that. They changed the entire thing. We had to learn it in probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours. We had to shoot. We went through the shoot. That took about 3 hours, and boom, we were out. Like a 16-hour day. So
that 5-hour rehearsal was
nothing.
Like, look, we got paid for it. It was great. You know, we got paid. You get to bond with everybody. But like, that wasn't abnormal. Like, you go through a rehearsal, director sees it, director doesn't like it, director changes it, and what are you gonna do? You can't say no.
Yeah,
like,
you can't.
Like,
what's wrong with you?
Yeah, you got to do what they say. But back to your question, because I know I'm going on a rant. We decided in 2019, in February of 2019, Tony and I both quit our full-time jobs. We went all in on Why Not You. My first month, because we were selling like $150 packages a month, just sending out 200 to 400 messages a day, just trying to connect with people, talk to people, and like just meet with anybody that would be willing to meet with us. And my first month, I'm like, sales wasn't really my thing. I made $700. Like, I had to put myself out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. And
then eventually we were able to do 6 figures in 6 months. And then we were able to, within like a year, we were able to, subsidize Michael's pay. And we were able to get him to leave where he was. And he went full time with us. And then as soon as he went full time with us, COVID happened. And we were like, oh my God, like, are you serious? Like, this is happening
now
right
what?
now. Yeah, now
Damn.
what? And thankfully we had mentors and stuff like that. So like the 3 of us would be talking, what do we do? Like, we can't charge people for services because no one's buying anything right now. So we completely shut. That was at April, right? April of 2020, something like that, or April of 2021, whatever it was.
2020, yeah.
2020. So we decided just, all right, cool it. We're going to chill out. We'll do some work for some people that we can get done. And then we were in contact with one of our mentors, and, things were slowly opening back up. And I'll never forget, I'm on the phone with Tony. I'm like, dude, we got to get back to work. Like, and he was like, I agree. We got to do something. Like, we're going nuts. And so we call up our mentor. He goes, yo, first week of May, go back to work. Just do it. And we did. And we just started shooting content for anybody that wanted to shoot content. And that was a big pivot in our company. And if you kind of like talked to myself, Tony, and Michael then, like 5 years ago to now, just the way that we perceive business and the way we go about doing business is we've become so relationship customer centric. Like, we're probably one of the most, I will take this, like, one of the most transparent marketing companies that you'll ever meet. Like, we will tell you don't need something. Like, people will be like, well, I want to do this. No, well, you don't need it. Like, we don't want people just giving us money just to give us money. Like, we're about the relationship because people respect that. Like, the amount of times we've, I guess, reverse sold people, I don't have enough fingers to count, because people are always like, well, I want to do this and I want to do that. It's like, whoa, you're not even there yet. Mm-hmm. Let's slow it down. Yeah. Let's start from the beginning. What are your goals, right? Like, what is the goal? Because some people come to us and they're like, look, I don't need the money that social media can make me, but I need a brand. I need to make sure that when I leave the company, there's longevity, right? That there's something left behind. And that of me leaving, this company just goes and bellies up. So we're all about finding out, like, what's your goal, and then kind of reverse engineering going from there. But that feeling, man, like, I'll never forget, like I said to my mom, I was like, I can't do this mortgage thing anymore. I was like, I can't do this. Like, I like, it just wasn't for me. And she was just like, do it. Like, you have a house, you have a roof over your head, just take the chance, risk it. And I did. And it was one of the greatest decisions of my life. Social media and digital marketing in this business changed my life. It's given me the opportunity to travel. Tony never traveled before the business, right? Like, never traveled. Like, he didn't go, like the farthest he went was like I think to like the Poconos or something, and then we're going to Florida. We're going to California. He's going, we're going all over the place.
Didn't you guys go to Mexico or some point?
No.
Dominican, where did I see you guys? Didn't you guys travel?
Tony went to Colombia. That was right. Yeah, Tony went to Colombia, went to Costa Rica, things right. Like that. Like, but all because of people that he met because of digital marketing. Like, there's a lot of power where, like, when Tony goes to like a networking event, or we go to a networking event, and we're usually some of the youngest people there. Like, I'm only 30, he's 29, Michael's 29. No one else does digital marketing. So it's like, it's a very easy conversation to have with people because everyone does insurance or mortgages or real estate, and
they don't realize that they need a social media presence or how much a social media presence can grow.
I think it's more of just a brand. You don't even the presence comes with its brand. You got to have an established brand first before you have a social media presence, because a brand, the brand is who you are.
Exactly,
and that's what we always say. It's like, we always gotta, like, we got inspiration from you guys because you guys always have Why Not You Media everywhere.
Everywhere, bro.
Yeah. And
I have it tattooed on me.
Yeah, it's
literally.
sick.
It's on my wrist.
Is it?
Yeah.
Where's it at?
Right there.
Oh, there you
Look
go.
at that.
Literally,
Why not you?
Yeah.
So when we first started, I was like, yo, we need...
Struggling here.
Yeah.
I got it. Here we go.
I'm like, yo, we need t-shirts, we need hats. Like, we just need... Like, I never want to wear anything else besides the burn down.
Well, think about it, dude. You wearing Louis Vuitton or anything like that.
Well, we had all different kinds of... Like, all these cigar boxes, we had them back here. And then once we started having a cigar, we're like, I don't want these brands anymore. I just want our shit. Like, I don't care about David Davidoff or LFD. Like, I want our shit here.
They're not paying you.
It's funny because we just had San Giuseppe Cigar and Big Joe on the show.
Yeah.
And I was telling them, I said, it's, when you come out with your own cigar, I said it's all a blessing, but I said it's a blessing and a curse, but it's really not a curse, and I'll explain it. But when you come up with your cigar, you have something that you've had it in your brain, right? That's why we call it the blueprint. Okay, everything that when you build a house, right? You don't just build a house.
Yeah,
you have to come up with a blueprint of what does the house look like in your brain. Yeah, then you put that on paper, and then you build a house. Right? You can't build anything without it. Anything that you see anywhere, anything on this planet, started in between your ears. Started between in somebody's brain. They created an idea and they built it. Right. So that's why we call it the blueprint. So when you have this idea of something that you want, in our case, a cigar, and now you formulate the plan, you put it into action, and then you come out with it, and you're holding it, and you're tasting it, and you're like, wow, this is unbelievable.
And it's a kick-ass fucking product.
Well, thank you.
That's the thing. Like, look, I'm not the biggest cigar smoker in the world, but like, I can sit here and enjoy it because it's for an avid smoker or for a beginner smoker. Exactly. Like, you guys really found like a sweet spot, and it's tasty, it's flavorful. Like, I'm loving it with the wine, and I'm not just saying that because you guys are sitting here. Like, this is conversations that I've had with people, who've had the cigar. Like, it's an enjoyable cigar. And I always say this to you guys. Like, I respect the shit out of what you guys do and how consistent you guys have been. Because, like, it's very hard to meet people that understand that you have to do things without expectation. Yes. Like, so many people, like...
just got to keep doing it every day.
And and the minute that you think the minute you quit, was like the next post you were that close to just exploding.
That's the thought I always have. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do this again. Like, this is fucking bullshit. Like, I'm gonna post this or do this, and it's gonna get no response. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it. Yep. And then it's always the pieces of content that I just kind of just do really quick and
throw them together.
And they always do best. And then I spend 2 hours making this video, and it's like, meh.
And it's discouraging. Yeah. Like,
but you have to put the stuff out there.
It's a necessity. And like, we just had a conversation with a client today, ironically, and he's brand new to social media. Like, he's just getting into the game, and honestly, this is the perfect time for people to get into social media and creating content. I'm going to tell you why. Because when we first started 5 years ago, you guys will definitely remember this. How intense did everyone edit their content? It was like
the amount of filters,
masking and transitions, and the flame effects.
We did so much for the hour and a half podcast episode on YouTube. We put so much emphasis.
My gosh, I remember we did this one episode where it was
a Halloween.
It was like a Halloween one. We were just like, when you look back on it, you're like, all right, that was kind of like a stupid idea, but we did it anyway because it's like no idea was to just do it. Okay,
yeah.
And we did this one. We said, okay, well, let's just talk about some Halloween.
It was like monsters versus monsters.
Yeah, like Halloween. Like, all right, who do you think would win in a fight, Frankenstein or Dracula? Right, and we'd be like, well, I don't know. Who fuck would win, man? Dracula can fly and suck blood, but then Frankenstein's this big. So we would do shit like that. Yeah. All right, who would win between the Mummy and Godzilla? Like, just stupid shit,
dumbass shit.
But we would put up. It would be like ding, 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 and we put and we had a picture of it, and then we had stats like Godzilla, 19 feet tall, like strength. Like,
I can only imagine.
It was fucking. And then we put the sound effect because we would type it in like, and it took hours. And now we look back and we go, we didn't need to do any of that. Nobody cares about it. They just want to see the content. They don't want to see
But back then, that was what everyone was doing. So what do? You followed suit. Like, I remember seeing, I think I brought this up to you guys on my podcast, is that I said to you guys, like, when you guys had those pieces of content that really kind of exploded for you guys, like, it was you guys just being funny.
Yeah.
Like, it probably took you 10 minutes to shoot it.
Yeah.
Edit in 5 seconds and you post it. It's like that, but back to my point was that this is the perfect time for people to get into social media because you're not dealing with all that anymore. Like, I remember when content would go out and I'd see someone shot something on their phone. I'd be like, oh, why aren't they using a videographer or a DSLR camera? Now I'm like, yo, they're posting. That's great. Like, Sam Sillick.
I use an iPhone 8. I have an iPhone 8 that I still make content with.
But that's unbelievable because
which will need to change soon. But
I've milked it as long as possible.
Yeah, eventually that thing's gonna explode in your pocket. But
my gosh,
dude, it's now people just want to see raw and real. Like, perfect example. Like, my buddy Nikki and I, who I do a snack time with, we went and we were down on Arthur Avenue. We stopped at Casa della Mozzarella and we took a video of Carlo making cheese, right? Making the mozzarella, right? Nikki shot it. I think it took him, I don't know. He said probably like 15 minutes to edit it, maybe less, right? He posted that, hit 1 million views today.
I mean, perfect example is the one that went viral, right? Like a year ago. That's got two examples. One on my personal account took us 10 minutes to make, and it was a video of somebody coming in, and it says like the sound is, "Are you doing okay today?" And she's like, "Are you mom gonna beat the shit out of you?" Blah, blah, blah. And they're like, "Oh, okay." And it was 2 seconds. He comes in, I go, "You doing okay today?" And the sound plays, "I'm gonna beat the shit out of you." And I'm like, "Oh." And it says the caption was, "When you told your wife you're gonna smoke one cigar," and it's like 9 hours later.
Yeah.
And it took 2 seconds. Didn't even edit it because we just
posted
play it.
it.
You go to the audio, hit use audio, and recorded it right there.
Yeah.
And it took 5 seconds, post it, 5 million views.
Bro.
And then we did another one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I was like, you know what? Arnold Schwarzenegger made a video of him lighting a cigar with the tequila, that thing. And I said, you know what? This will be cool if we make because it was a video. And I said, why don't we make this into a short?
Yeah.
And like a reel.
Yeah.
So we made it into a short on YouTube.
Yeah.
I just took the video and just chopped it up.
It's like 18 million views.
18 million views. And and that video blew up our account from like 5,000 to 55,000.
Bro, it really goes to show you. Like I read a quote 2 days ago. This large marketer named Neil Patel. I don't know if I'm saying his last name correctly, but he wrote, "The reason why a 14-year-old from Missouri can go viral on social media and the big marketing executive who has a Harvard MBA and works for who's the head of a marketing department of a huge company can't get more than 100 views is because of this." He goes, the marketer, right, the Harvard MBA, has to write a script, has to look at trends, has to look at hashtags, like takes all this time to create one post. The kid from Missouri just goes, "Oh, this is cool. Let me post it." He goes, social media content, like social media marketing today is not meant to be over complicated.
You know what's funny too is, I don't want to cut you off, but it goes back to when you think about Instagram, okay? What was Instagram? What was the main point of why Instagram was created?
Share shit with your friends.
It was called Instagram because it was instant sharing. You take a picture, you share it.
Yep.
And it was just you in the moment. There was no filters. There was no editing.
We need to get back to that, though.
It was instant. It was Exchangeagram, right?
Yes.
Exchangeagram.
It was Instagram. It's instant photos. You take a picture of this. I'm drinking this wine.
Yeah.
Boom, picture, upload. And people loved it because now you get to see what all of your friends are doing on a daily basis. And it got away from that by people editing and posting these and posting that and so
fabrication.
much. And now it's back to, like you had said, that 11-year-old, that 14-year-old is just posting some. That's what I like. Boom, picture up. Because it's instant. It's people. We're going back to what the foundation of Instagram was. It's just you doing something that you like and seeing if others like it.
You know what some of my favorite posts on Instagram are? And you've probably seen these where people show Instagram versus reality. And like they're away on vacation. And Greece is the perfect example. They're out, I forget the name of the island, but like it'll show them like the blue ocean, everything's beautiful, and then it goes reality. There's like 3,000 other people there.
It's fun. I saw that firsthand at the Trevi Fountain.
Okay.
In Italy. Same thing, right? When they're like, oh, you see the one person, she's laying there and the fountains are in the background. It's perfect. And you get there and there's 1,000 people
doing the same thing.
Like,
you know what I find more and more now? Now you said fabrication. Now I see just more and more content that they just try to make like it's a real concept. Like someone calling their mom and it's a really emotional story, but that was staged, or
yes, 100%.
All these different things.
100%. Where you see these like and sometimes they go to an extreme where they'll have a like it'll be their video camera for their home, like they have a home security camera. I saw this one where it was a guy says like, "Oh, you know, I was struggling with we had our newborn has had like a temper tantrum for 2.5 hours and I was really struggling, and this is how my son reacted." And then the son, he sits down and it's like his 10-year-old comes over and he's like, "Hi Dad, I love you so much," and like gives him a hug, and he's like, "I love you too, son." But then like I'm looking at it and at first I said, "Oh, that's awesome. Like that's great. You know, the kid he's mature for his young, he sees his dad's upset, he comforts his dad, like that's fantastic." But then it kept going and the responses were just it felt so scripted. It felt like what he was saying in response to what it was just. And It was so scripted, and I look at the comments, and it's all like, "Yeah, this is scripted."
All I think is scripted is all those in-car conversations. It's like their wife and their girlfriend, and they're like in the car. I'm going to tell my husband that I got a new hairstyle.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like, you just walk in your car with the camera rolling, and
no one realizes it.
Like really, like I just like scroll right past. I was like,
it's unfortunate because we are in, and I heard someone say this today on the podcast that they said social media is creating more mental illness than ever before, and eventually. They're going to do studies on it because we are all being royally fucked up from it. Because it's like people will do anything to chase a view or a like or a comment because it's like it's a dopamine hit, right? 100%. It's like reassurance that you're doing the right thing or your content matters. Like people
want the approval of their peers,
and it's crazy.
So you mentioned dopamine. You want to hear something crazy? Have you ever heard? So you heard of the game Angry Birds, right?
Yes.
Do you know why Angry Birds was so successful?
Definitely has to do something that I can only imagine, but go for it.
So you had mentioned that Instagram releases dopamine, right?
Yes.
What is the main action of Instagram? Like actual. Like motor skills. What do you do on Instagram?
Scroll and tap.
You scroll and tap.
Yeah.
What are the main actions that you do on Angry Birds?
Scroll and tap.
Scroll and tap. They designed Angry Birds after Instagram because they said Instagram, everybody's on it and they scroll, tap, scroll, tap. So they said, let's make a game like that. And they made a game that has the exact same motor functions.
That's someone thinking.
And it went bananas.
They made movies. They made movies over Angry Birds.
That's why it was so addicting because it's the same motor skill. It's the same function.
There's a lot of crazy sciences. I watched a few crazy documentaries about social media, and it's just about the brain wanting more after you scroll. More. What's next?
Yep.
More. And I notice it with myself. So I constantly am having a conversation with myself like, get the fuck off this. Yeah. This is stupid.
It's funny. So like I always tell people like because they'll be like, oh, you must be on social media all day. And I'm like, honestly, you know what my average time on Instagram is? An hour a day. I create content. I don't really consume content because I don't want to get caught up because what happens is when you get caught up scrolling, like I'll check in on certain accounts and how friends are doing and things like that or watching. Like I consume a lot of podcast content like when I'm driving or on YouTube. But like what happens is that when you spend all that time just scrolling, you turn into a death scroll, right? And all of a sudden it's
you can't get out.
Yeah, and like an hour and a half later, and you're like, holy crap, I just wasted an hour and a half of my time. But to the creator, all the credit to them because they actually took an hour of your time.
Yeah.
Right? If you really think about that, and I talk about that all the time with clients, is that we pay attention, like with us, when we help clients make content, is we teach them to understand that you have to pay attention to the first 3 to 5 seconds of a video, right?
Yes.
Because that's what's going to hook people.
You got to get them in. You got to suck them in.
Exactly. But then from there, it's what's the average watch time, right? If you get people that average watch, I don't know, anywhere from 15 to 25 seconds, that's phenomenal, right? Because if you really think about it, if someone watched your video for 25 seconds and they tapped or engaged or something that's 25 seconds of their life that they can't get back. Like it's gone.
And take it one step further, going back to the swiping, right? Think about the average, if you're on the reel page and you're just swiping away, the average time is like half a second, right? You see something, you don't like it, you swipe. You don't like it, you swipe. You don't like it, you swipe. You don't like it, swipe. So if you get to a video where they go from half a second, now you sit there and it's like 25 seconds.
Yeah.
And then they go, okay, next, half a second. You went they went through 100 videos
to watch something for 25 seconds
in 10 minutes, and they watched yours the longest.
Yeah, and then even if it goes deeper than that, right? So it's like now they watch something for 25 seconds, but these platforms have gotten even smarter, right? Because now it's an interest-based platforms. So like if you watch something for, like you said, 25 seconds, right? Let's say you watch a video on a car, right? For 25 seconds. They're going to keep showing you content about cars because you told the platform, the algorithm, that you want to see this, right? So it's like when you have the ability, and that's why like you see these large creators sometimes at one point get hired by brands to teach them about the psychology of what they're doing, because to hack attention, like Gary Vee says all the time, right? To hack attention and harvest that attention is a skill.
Yeah.
It's a skill. And for some people though, it happens by accident, right? There's a lot of people that put out their first post or they put out a post and it does millions of views, but they never know how to get back to that. They don't know how to take advantage
It's not sustainable.
of it. It's not sustainable because they don't really try to hone in on that skill or pay attention to why it worked.
Yeah, they don't understand, like, okay, why did this video do 4 million? All my other ones are doing like 10K. Yeah. What did I do on they just like, oh, I 4 million, boom. Exactly. But it's like, you don't understand. Okay, no, that's why I see some of these videos now and I'll see the video and I'll be like interested. I say, okay, and then I stay on the video and I read the caption. Then I realize, oh wait, and then I almost want to, after I finish, my engagement on the post, I almost want to say, hats off to you, guy. You got me, right? And what I'm saying is, okay, they'll post a video, and it says something like, okay, it'll be a golf video. That I'm big into golf, so I'll be interested. Okay, he says, 5 tips to be a scratch golfer. Yeah. Okay. And then it'll say, read the caption. I hate those. So I click.
I skip right past.
That's lazy content.
So I click the caption, and then I'm reading, and then I realize that his video played 10 times
while you're reading it,
and I go, hats off to you.
I don't know if this is good. I don't know if this is good or not. I don't know if this is good or not, but I feel like I've been on social media so much now. I can see where the content is going. If it hooks me, I'm like, all right, they're gonna do this, and I'm not gonna, and it happens, and I'm like, they just like get that initial hook, and I'm like, they're gonna do X, and I'm like, nope, there it is. All right.
And sometimes it's good. Like sometimes I'll open the caption and I'll read it, and it's a bunch of good tips, and I'm like, okay, and then like I said, it played 5-10 times. You go, all right, that was good for you, man. Like that was. You got me. Yeah. But then sometimes you read the caption and it's just garbage. I'm like, you motherfucker. Like,
yeah, you got me on bullshit.
But if you get me on good stuff and I enjoy it, I said, good
job.
You'll like that was a good one. That was a good one.
Maybe hit him with a follow, whatever it may be. That was a
good one. You got it.
Exactly. So, like, let me ask you guys. Like, you guys have been creating content for a long time, and I know we're on the social media topic right now, but, like, where do you see your content going? Because you guys are very ingrained in the cigar community, right? Like, you guys...
I'm glad you asked the question.
Yeah, because you guys create content, and I think this would be great for, like, your viewers and the people that watch your content, because you guys have like a loyal like following and people love your podcast and really watch. So like, where is your content moving? Because like cigars are your niche, but you guys, we talked about it off camera here, that you are now showcasing like the golf and different sides of you. Like,
yes,
what's your guys' strategy going forward?
So I'm glad you brought this up because we actually had talked about this a little while ago, and so obviously we're focused on the cigar content, right? Yep. And bringing people together one cigar at a time. Like that's the whole premise of our show. It's the whole premise. Everybody smokes cigars. We like bringing people together. So and we like educating people on cigars. So we have the content of, the clips of the podcast to try to bring people in to listen to the podcast more. Bringing people, teaching them about cigars and doing cigar events and doing all these things. We started doing a lot of the instead of just posting the comedic side of the trending audio, making our own cigar flavor of it. We started posting the events. Okay, this is us in an event, and they do the walkthroughs. Eric started posting walkthroughs.
I love those.
People like that.
MTV Cribs.
Yeah.
So hopefully people book you.
Exactly. And then one of the other things we talked about is, okay, how can we branch? Because we have different sides. Like I'm a big golfer. Yeah. So one of the things was I was saying maybe I can do a little on my personal brand. I want to start doing golf videos because golf videos are blowing up. Okay, there's a lot of golf content,
especially since COVID.
And I'm like, you know what? I love golfing. I go golfing very frequently, and I smoke cigars. So maybe I can do a cigar golf video. I'll say, okay, play a hole with me. I'm smoking the Blueprint today. This is hole number 1 at Old Westbury. I'm starting off with a 3-wood. I hit my 3 into the rough, and then just do a video.
Yeah.
And I can film an entire if I go out and play 18 holes.
Yeah.
I was telling Eric, I said, this is like a perfect content because I go out and play 18 holes. You set up the little tripod. You just bring the tripod with you. Set it up, you hit the shot. I said, I have 18 holes. And if I do play a hole with me and I post one a day, I have 18 days of content.
Yeah.
And
it's unbelievable.
And then you can take the whole 18 video and put it on YouTube.
And it also, and the great part about that is it kind of gives an insight to more of who you are as a person.
Right.
And it takes those who already like you, maybe they like you even more now. And eventually, like, look, you guys have the cigar. This is how you guys have monetized the brand, right? So it's a really cool aspect to see you guys now implementing other parts that you really enjoy. Because, like, you now might attract a whole different community because of golf.
And golf and cigars go so... there's every time that I'm on a golf course, I'll be smoking a cigar. Like, for instance, golf and cigars. We have one of the distributors that I
should have your own event, golf and cigars.
We talked about it
many times.
We talked about having our own golf outing, but we had said, I went to a golf outing for work for my 9 to 5, and and they were smoking. They gave out a bunch of cigars at the golf event.
Yep.
And I was smoking cigars, and they were shit cigars because they ordered some custom label, some random thing. It's probably some factory rejects, and they put their name on it. It was trash. And I had said, so I was with a group at our sixum that we had for our scramble, and the guys were smoking cigars. I'm like, don't smoke. I'm like, smoke this one, try this one. They're like, wow, this is really good. What is this? That it's my cigar. I make it. And like, you make your own cigar? I said, yeah, try it. They loved it, right? So now I'm after the golf outing. We're sitting down with the director. I know him. He puts together the whole golf outing. And he's like, what are you smoking? I'm like, oh, this is my cigar. He goes, really? He's like, can I try one? I said, yeah, sure. So I gave it to him. He's like, wow, this is really good. He goes, do you guys do like events and stuff? I said, yeah, of course. He goes, can you do like custom labeling? And at the time, I had no idea how we were going to do it. But I was like, yeah, we can do custom labeling. Had no idea. But I was like, yeah.
Say yes. You figure it out later.
Yeah, we can do it. He goes, dude, I'd love to use you for our events. I'm like, say less. He goes, give me your email. We'll shoot you an email and we'll put a quote together.
Yeah.
Went to Eric, said, yo, we got to figure out how to do custom labeling. Figured it out. No problem. We do our own custom labeling. Sent him a quote. He goes, I want to use you guys. He ordered 100 cigars for the next event. Sent it to him, right? I said, hey, how'd you like this? He goes, everybody loved him. It was great. Thank you so much. He had like different, because he asked, can you do, I want to do one main label, but then I want to do a couple subsets. Because I want to give them to like the big wigs.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, we can do that. So he did it. He loved it. He goes, I want to use you. We have 4 more events this year. I want to use it for every event. So I'm like, just like that.
Custom labels now, baby.
Just like that.
That's amazing.
And he loved
That's amazing.
So now I just got back from a business trip, and I was meeting with one of the guys. He's like, are you going to be at the golf event? I said, yeah, I'll be there. I said, they're actually using our cigars. He goes, I know. I was at that meeting. I'm very excited. I liked your cigar. I'm very excited to see that. I'm like,
that's unbelievable.
Like, let's go, man.
But like, it's just crazy because it's like, just from a cigar, from golf, social media, just the way you can connect with people. And like, how long ago did you guys start this officially?
This will be
2 years in July.
2 years
That's
in July.
nothing. That's nothing. Think about like,
and now the next one's coming. So it's okay, you want to do cigars? Do half and half.
Yeah, and think about where, like, you have no idea where this brand could be in 10 years.
I know.
Like in 10 years,
I know where it's going to be in 10 years. It's gonna. We're gonna.
The only
I won't be working a 9 to 5 in 10 years.
The only thing I'll say was social media, and I talked to you this plenty of times when I was showing you. I was like, listen, man, I don't know. I've been at 22.8 now 9 in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
22.9 thousand followers for over a year.
Yeah.
And I showed, I think I sent you the screenshots of like the ups and downs every single day. And I'm like, I'm getting thousands of views on these videos, 10,000. Yeah. And I'm like, I just don't get what's not sticking here. It's so hard. And is it really because of the cigar?
It's funny too, because like I was in the same boat where, okay, we get to a point, you kind of plateau, right? And I was keep pushing out, and wasn't getting there. And then I kind of fell off Instagram because I was like, well, it's really not going anywhere. And I kind of stopped posting.
Yeah.
And I stayed there. So I'm like, I'm posting and I'm not going anywhere. I'm not posting, I'm not going anywhere. I'm like, what do we, how do you get, is there like how do you get past that plateau?
So
do I have to start doing the golf thing?
Well, we got the professional right here.
So, let's ask, like, how do you get past that plateau?
So it's one of those things. So like, all right, how do I like, let's sum this up a little bit. So I'll give you an example. The amount of views never correlates to the amount of followers that you think you should generate from a post, right? So what I mean by that is if you really take the time and scroll through social media and look at different accounts, and I've been taking the time to do that because like Nikki and I have the same conversations with Snack Time, right? Like YouTube's become our main platform. Like
which is crazy. He had over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. So cheers to that, my boy. Snack Time.
I love it.
That's nuts. That's nuts.
Cheers to Snack Time.
So
you gotta get that plaque soon, huh?
It's in my car. We haven't opened it yet, but we're gonna shoot like a little video for it.
That's crazy.
But like to the point is, okay, so like YouTube's our biggest platform. TikTok, for example, right? TikTok's been our slowest growing platform. We had a video do over 100,000 in the like within 3 days, and it gained us, a good, I think, 200 followers, right? But it's like you would think you'd get more from that 100,000, right?
Yeah, you don't get as much.
So I've been doing my research, and one thing I like to do is like I go on social media, I go and look at other accounts, and like whenever a viral video comes up on my Explore page, I'd like to click it, look at the page, and see if they have other viral videos. Multiple times now, I've come across viral videos. I'm talking like an absurd amount of views. I'm talking 18.6 million, 30 million,
So
like
super,
crazy.
like viral.
Viral.
Yeah.
I'm talking like there's a chance that like everyone you know has seen this type video.
Yeah, mega viral videos.
Perfect example. I saw a dude the other day. Okay. Do you guys know that kid that went viral for playing basketball in his basement? Big Red.
Yeah, big guy.
Yeah.
With the jog.
All right, ready?
With the jog.
You ever look at his personal page?
Well, he's got nothing.
He's got 1,000 followers. Okay.
Yeah.
He's got two videos posted that are collabs that have a combined over like 20-something million views. He only has over 1,000 followers. So to that point, it's that you never know what video is going to generate the amount of followers from it. Meaning, like you could post a video tomorrow that could do 1 million views, right? You might get 20 followers from it.
Okay.
Perfect example. Nikki is the one that posted the Casa video, right? And then collabed with me and Casa and our snack time page. Nikki went up 26 followers. Did 1 million people.
See, and that's
view.
And
So
that's
it's
our
like,
point. Is it's like how
do you break the threshold? Right?
we've tried to analyze it. I'm like, all right, what content are we doing or are we creating that is generating the followers? Like, what do we have to do? Because whatever it is, like we always heard, okay, whatever works. Like if you put a bunch of stuff out, whatever works, you double down on it.
Yes.
For instance, there's a perfect example of a group I follow called Bob Does Sports.
Okay.
They are they do golf videos.
Yep.
But when it first started, Bob was a guy, you've probably seen the guys that are on like the Masters. He was heckling like Tony Finau and the salmon, looking good in the salmon.
Yeah.
Tony, let me get a tip of the old spider. And like as they walk by, he was doing little
Yes.
bits. So his intention was to do a man on the street video.
Okay.
Going up and like asking people. And then he posted a couple of like random sports, like Bob Does Sports.
Yep.
And then he posted the golf videos. And the golf ones hit. And he goes, all right, I'm going to double down on golf videos. And he doubled down. And they just hit again. He's like, all right, screw all the other stuff. Now we're doing golf. So now Bob Does Sports is more like Bob Does Golf. Because that's all they do is golf videos.
But
and now it's viral. So we kind of did the same thing. Like, what do we double down on? And we couldn't find anything. Because I was like, well, this one is 10 million, but we got 100 followers.
Yeah.
This one's 1,000 and we got 100 followers. Like,
yeah.
What do you do?
There's no, so like it's tough because it can be discouraging, right? Because you put
very discouraging.
Yeah, because you get all these views and you're like, why aren't the followers coming in? Because here's how psychology is a huge part of social media. It's all that everything that I do on a daily basis. I feel like I'm just a marketing psychologist, right? Because like that's all we talk about all day is like psyche, right? Because you're trying to kind of penetrate people's thought process to make sure that when it comes to your industry, they think of you. So people don't have to follow anymore to see the content that they want.
Yeah.
So like they might like the videos you're posting, but they don't need to follow you anymore to see you anymore. So they could
true.
they could like it, view it, and guess what? They're going to keep seeing you. And I'll give you an example because I've gone through it. So like Nikki and I have videos that have 100,000, 200,000, 600,000, million, whatever. But we have so many people that we see that don't follow us. Mm-hmm. And they say, I see your content. I always check your page to see for new stuff. But they don't actually follow us because they don't have to anymore.
So,
like they can literally just watch and see.
And I've talked to you about that. I remember, I think it was Marissa, my wife. Fun fact, Marissa, her first very crush, Francis Volpe, right in the room right here.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Kindergarten.
Isn't that nuts?
Wow.
Was that kindergarten?
Yes.
It was so weird. I hadn't seen her in like, I don't even know how long. And then she goes, do you remember that you were my first crush in kindergarten? I was just
wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know you guys went to the same school.
So I went to Greenvale. No, so I went to Waverly. She went to Waverly, right?
Yeah, I think
I
so.
went to Waverly, and that's where I was in class with her. Then I went to Greenvale, and then I moved. Yeah, when she said that to me, I was like, "How do you remember that?"
We were playing golf. When we played golf with him and Tony.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is when we first started really hanging out, and I was telling him.
That was when I kept getting in trouble because the guy was like, "Can you tuck your shirt in? Turn your hat back."
Yeah.
It was tucked in last hole. I just swung too hard. Now it's untucked. I was like, the guy over there just hit it in 3 holes left.
brutal.
Why don't you go yell at him? Okay,
That guy was
I'm on the
our
fairway.
ass.
Yes.
God.
And I remember like sending a picture to Marissa. I'm like, hey, look, I'm with Francis. And she's like, fun fact, he was my first crush. And I'm like, what? I'm like, no fucking way.
The fact that she remembered that.
Oh, she has a
Wow.
memory like an elephant, bro.
Really?
You could say something in 2008, and she'd be like, I remember you wearing a black polo, and you told me this and that, and I was really upset about it, and I didn't talk to you for 2 weeks.
So you gotta walk in the house and really think what's about to come out of my mouth.
Well, listen, yeah, that's not just her. That's all women. Dude, they will, if it's about you, they remember.
My girlfriend's the same way.
Everything.
My girlfriend's the
and
same way.
be careful what you say because it may not come out now, but it'll come out 2 years.
Eventually.
Remember that thing that you said? Yeah, now I'm mad.
Yeah, because I don't forget.
guess
I hear it all
what?
the time.
Sleeping on the couch. Fuck my ass, motherfucker.
But Marissa she said, Eric, she goes, I was telling her about like the social media stuff. I'm like, I'm getting pissed off. And she's like, well, maybe it's this, because it's like I watch a lot of things on Instagram. I watch podcast clips all the time, but I don't follow them because they just come up. Yeah. Like, why do I need to follow them when they just come up already? I'm like, that's a good fucking point.
Yeah, like, I don't need to follow that person.
So let me ask you this: then the follower count doesn't really mean anything.
It doesn't
anymore.
Because go back to your point.
As long as you're over,
I meet people all the time, and they're like, I know your stuff. There's people in my business, in my company.
They don't follow you.
They don't follow me.
They don't want to be that guy.
But when they first started, they're like, "Oh, I know you. You're the guy with the cigar. You work for this company." I'm like, "Yeah." And I look, and they're like, "They just followed me." And when I meet them, I'm like, "This is fucking bizarre." But I meet people all the time that don't follow us.
I guess it only matters like if you have like if you're trying to make social media your business.
Yeah.
The only number of followers that matter is when you get to the point where now you can monetize.
Yes.
Once you monetize, I don't think does it really matter how many more you get as long as you're getting views?
So to that point, right? So monetization of your followers is very tricky, right? So you have to be very careful when you start to try to monetize your audience, because the chances are that people that followed you, now if you try to sell them, they didn't follow you for that reason.
Yeah.
They followed you because of some type of value, entertainment, things of that sort, right? Like, look, you guys met Nicky Cass, right? I had a 2-hour conversation with him at the event, and then I got to see him on that Wednesday because we shot some content for him, and I got to like talking to him and picking his brain, and like he's a 23-year-old kid, but like the way he looks at what he's doing, he's like, I love business, but he goes, I'm not looking to like he has the extended family. It's a very, very small barrier to entry though. It's like $7 a month. So if you pay attention to that, there's no like hard sell. Like, hey, buy a course, buy this, buy my cologne, buy anything. But what he's trying to do is he's just building to the point where he builds enough loyal fans to then sell them something.
Well, that's really what OnlyFans was intended for.
Yes.
Was to be like a Patreon where it's only fans of ours can come and you get some extra content.
Yes.
And we actually talked about the idea too, because we have the membership, which we still have, and we kind of the last couple of months I don't want to say we ignored it, but it wasn't as like we were going live all the time showing other stuff. But we were thinking of talking about the idea, it's like, would it be possible to create some extra content for people that are really loyal fans of ours that want to enjoy the content? Could they say, okay, come over to our Patreon page or our OnlyFans page? I don't want to do OnlyFans because
Patreon's more your route,
because it's got such a bad rap now.
Yeah.
But you do Patreon, it's like, hey, we have a video every
imagine
month.
we had an OnlyFans and be like, what do you smoke cigars with your shirts off
right,
and your boxers, bro? Your socks
you know how much
like,
money,
that's all anyone
you know
thinks
how much
of.
money I'd make off OnlyFans if I didn't have a soul,
you know
if
how
I
much
wasn't
dignity
a
you'd have
Christian.
None.
I know. If I wasn't a Christian and had a soul, I would.
The amount of messages we would get from men, you know, no shame here. Guys would be like, can you send me a video of you smoking a 60 by 60 cigar with your shirt off? Or can you do the podcast more where you show your socks? And we're getting all these fucking weird.
I can only
requests.
imagine. But a Patreon is your route, because here's the thing. It's just you, and we talk to people all the time. It's like you have to, what are you in social media for, right? Like when we talk to business owners, it's like, are you in it for followers? Are you in it to make money? Make money, right? If you're looking,
anybody goes into business to make money.
Yeah, but there's some, believe it or not, though, you speak to some people and they're still in this mindset that followers equals money. No,
it doesn't.
Like if it did, like we'd all be freaking flying around on private jets.
I would probably say that value equals money. How much value are you providing? Because like you can have 100,000 followers
and make nothing
with no value, but you can have 1,000 and so you can have 100,000 followers, and let's say you're getting 10,000 views every video, right? But you're not providing any value, and people aren't like true avid fans of yours. You can open up a Patreon and you might get 10, 15, 20 people.
Yeah.
But then you can have 2,500 followers, and you have avid, loyal fans that enjoy your content. You provide value to them. They want to see more. You open a Patreon. Now you have, out of those 2,500, you have 1,200 that come to your page. Who's making more, and who's providing more value, and who's making more money?
Look, it's all about, it comes back to building a true community and a true fan base. And I think what happens, though, is that people all of a sudden have a ton of followers and they think they can monetize, but people aren't following you for that. So we have clients, I'm not, like, my words to God's ears, who have 700, 800, you can give me a little more, 1,000 followers, who are crushing it because they're adding value and they're looking to make money and they're following the strategies that we put into place.
What is it called? Like micro influence, like micro influencers.
But like you don't even have to. Right? Like that's the thing though. It's like a Patreon for you guys. That's a nice move because of the fact that like you can have more of those like off script convos that you want to have, right? Like we can't sit here and probably talk about certain things we want to talk about because of the restrictions that YouTube and stuff have. But now if you go on Patreon, you can speak about whatever you want and people are paying to listen and see another side of you. But the people that are going to join that are the people that actually fuck with you like that.
Yeah.
And just because you might have 100,000 followers, like you said, it doesn't mean that you're going to get 30,000 people to buy something from you. You could potentially get 100 people. There was that old story. Remember, I think it was a few years ago. Some girl had like 8.2 million followers. She came out with a clothing line. She sold 2 shirts.
Yeah.
Like your follower count doesn't mean shit when it comes to making actual money on social media.
And I bet it also has something to do with if you're, let's say I'm new to Instagram, right? And I'm coming out and I see a piece of content and I enjoy and I go to the page and I see that it has 1 million followers.
Yep.
You're probably like, you know what? I mean, I could follow this, but I'm like part of the
running
masses.
low.
Like I'm just gonna
Just grab your lighter.
You can just say, you know what? I'm just gonna like blend into the weed. This person's not even gonna know who I am. Like, why would I follow them? He's got 1 million already. But then if you see a piece of content you engage in, and you go to their page and you see they have 1,500, you're like, wow, this is a little bit more personal. This is not like a big celebrity. This is like a regular guy. It's more personal. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna follow this person. Maybe I can, because then let's say you want to DM them. Okay. Who are you going to DM? Who do you think you're going to get a response from? Somebody who has 1 million followers or somebody who's like 1,500? I mean,
I'll tell you
you're probably going to get a response from somebody who's got 1,500. Now it's more personal. You're like, I'm friends with this person as though I'm just one of the million that follows.
We tell people this all the time, and it's tough. It's like, and some people might combat it. If you have the ability, and like, look, I understand that some pages it gets to a point where like you get so many comments, it's very hard to answer every single one of them.
Very difficult.
But I also see that there's pages with millions of followers that a lot of people, you know, to get a lot of comments, your video has to be controversial in some way. You know, like it has to be something because like, excuse me, it gets people to go back and forth. But like if you put out a video and it goes viral, you might get like, I don't know, 70, 80, 90 comments. You should go back and answer all of them. Like
now your 90 turns into 180.
Yeah, but not even that. It's like it shows that you're diving deeper, right? So now it's actually like you might have 1 million followers, and the day that you guys each have like 100,000 something, but your video goes and does really well, you only get maybe 30 or 40 comments. You should go back and answer them. You're never too big.
Gary V a long time ago
did it on Twitter.
He did it on Twitter, and he said something like, you know, invest like $1 a day or something.
$1.80 a day.
$1.80.
It was put your 2 cents in.
Yeah, put your 2 cents in, and it was. This is when the explore page and the hashtags were very, very relative, and so he would say, search a relative hashtag, whatever industry you're in, search that hashtag, find accounts that are similar to yours, like a couple of their pictures, message them, tell them something honest that you think about or that you like, and comment on some of the pictures, and then follow them. And I took that and I shared that with Justin. I said, Justin, for an hour a day, we should just go to Cigars hashtag, and we would just go through the follow page, and I'd be like, oh, this is cool. And I would follow them. I would message them. I would follow and message, and I would say, hey, love your content, man. Hopefully we can talk one day, this and that. And the success rate on that was huge.
You know how we grew our business? That.
I remember you guys telling us
dude,
that.
to this day, Tony does that.
And
exact, like what you just said, find pages, like photos, leave a comment, send them a message about something that you like about their page. And believe it or not, that method will never change. Why? Because it's about connecting. Mm-hmm. That's where people kind of get caught up in this world where it's like they're chasing views, and followers. And that's why you sometimes see these large personalities, like they might get other opportunities, but they tend to burn out because they're not building a true fan base.
I still make sure to respond to the comments. I still make sure to respond to the comments and get engaged. And one thing I noticed with the cigars and posting on Instagram is if I were to make a post about, if I put the blueprint in there and I made it about the blueprint cigar, it wouldn't do as good as if I made it a general cigar video. So if I opened up the box and I was like, open up a new box of blueprints, won't do as well as if I said, open up a fresh new box of cigars. Because for that, people can can connect more about, I may not like the blueprint, but I like, my Padrones. I like this video.
Yeah.
And I've noticed a huge difference.
No one wants to be sold, man. They as soon as someone feels like you're trying to sell them, you're going to lose them. Like, that's why you'll see a drop off in engagement. Like, there's so many, like, now that we're talking about it, you're going to start to see larger pages that, like, everything is salesy. It's like, look, I gained 1.3 million followers on Instagram. I could teach you how to do it. And every post is a call to action to buy something from them. Yeah, it's like, I get you got to make some money, man, but at the same time, it's like, it's not authentic.
You know how many people came up to us and said, you guys why don't you make like an ebook on cigars and sell it? I was like, because I'm not trying to sell people stuff. What we're trying to do is connect community over the cigar, because we find that the cigar culture is such a friendly and inviting culture, and you can have difficult conversations, you can have lovely conversations, no matter who you are, where you're from, what you believe in, what your background is. You can sit down with a cigar and have a great conversation, and that's what we're trying to. I'm not trying to sell you an ebook.
But you guys are also a long-term thinking group here. Like, you guys are delaying your gratification, where a lot of people, they get into social media, and like what we tend to do is we set the expectation now. We let them know it's like, if you're looking just to gain followers and become this viral sensation,
go download the Follower Plus app and pay $100.
Exactly.
And follower.
We are not the company for you. We want to help you make money.
And you know what's fun is when you were saying about the commenting on every post, it actually, if you go to a piece of content and you're liking the content, then you go into the comments and you see that every comment that was made, the creator responded to the comment, you are more inclined 100%. To comment, because like, maybe this person's going to see it and comment back. But if you go to a account and has 10 million followers, and then you go to and you look at the comments and nobody's it's just all random comments of fire emoji, and nobody's responding, you're like, I don't know, I'm just going to get lost in the weeds.
Yeah.
But if you see that the creator is liking your content, like, for instance, there's a guy, Charlie Kirk. I don't know if you know Charlie Kirk.
No.
Charlie Kirk is the guy who you ever see he'll go to like universities and he'll set up
you, right? Isn't that his
yes.
He like sets up a table.
Is it like prove me wrong?
Yeah,
or something?
Kind of like a prove me wrong.
Change
thing.
my mind.
Change my mind.
Like a political guy.
Political guy, right?
Yeah.
So he posted a piece of content about somebody who had asked him why he believes in the Bible and why he's a Christian, and he laid everything out. Right, plain as day. He laid it all out, and I was like, I'm like, amen. This is fantastic. So I went and I was going to comment saying like, amen, brother. God bless you. We need more people like you spreading the gospel. We need more of that in this world. And when I went to comment, I clicked the comment and I saw that all the comments, he was responding. He's like, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Amen. God bless you. Amen. So I was like, bang, I'm going to comment. And sure enough,
he answered.
Likes, answers. And I'm like, this is why you comment.
I'll never forget years ago. This is probably going back 5-6 years ago. So when I first got into the entrepreneurial space, like, my big go-to podcast was Ed Milet, right? Like,
which is what?
Ed Milet.
Ed Milet?
Yeah,
not familiar with that.
EDMYLETT.
What kind of?
So he just he made all his money in finance, but now he interviews like guys like Inky Johnson. He interviews celebrities.
Still going?
Still going.
I'm gonna write it down.
Yeah. It's literally the Ed Milet podcast. So like, you listen to his podcast, he's one of my favorite hosts, because like, he allows the guest. It's all about the guest. Ed Milet podcast. You can probably find
here it is.
Let me see it.
This is it, Ed.
That's the guy.
Ed Milet.
So this guy literally like changed my life. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Like,
no, his first one is Damar Hamlin, give a second chance to life, faith, football, and fighting back.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to listen to that tomorrow.
Yeah, so he legitimately changed my life, because I would listen to it, and the people he would have on, they would give you tangible things that you could do to actually better yourself, right? He has doctors come on, psychologists, like, or just these amazing individuals that have accomplished so much. And the thing with him, though, is I DM'd him once, and I said, this is years ago, I wrote like this long thing, right, thanking him for his content and everything that he was doing. And I think it took about 3 or 4 days. He apologized and said, hey, I'm so sorry I didn't get back to you right away, but my DMs have been crazy, but I really appreciate that. Thank you.
And that
I screenshot it. I still have the screenshot to this day.
That made your day.
That made my fucking day because it's like, yo, who the fuck am I?
Mm-hmm.
And he took the time. I can only imagine how many messages this guy gets.
That happens to me sometimes. Like I'm literally a nobody. I get DMs all the time. I reply all of the DMs, and every once in a while I'll be like, wow, thank you for responding back to my message. I didn't think you would. And I'm like, yeah, bro.
Well, because
it happened to us firsthand with so on both sides. One, we had a guy who messaged us and was saying, hey, listen, and he sent a long message, and you screenshotted it too, and it almost like brought a tear to our eye because it was so moving. He said, listen, he goes, I just want to say thank you for your podcast. He goes, I've been battling some health issues, and I've been in and out of the hospital. I had like an open heart surgery or something, and I needed to I was recovering for in the hospital X amount of weeks, and there was nothing to do. Like I'm laying in the bed all day long. Yeah. And I found your podcast, and I've just been listening to your podcast, and it helped me like pass the time during my recovery. And it was amazing to see
Australia
in Australia. And, and now he gets out, and now he's doing fine. He smokes cigars, and he's like, and it's fantastic.
You guys still communicate with him to this day?
Yeah, every once in a while, like we'll see him like our stuff, and but on the flip side of it, going back to now we're on the other end of it. We had sent his brother had said, hey, Bert Kreischer, big cigar guy. Yeah. You should send him some cigars and like a care package. We said, fine, okay. We put together some cigars and a bottle of scotch, and we sent it to him. We're like, all right, Bert Kreischer, he's
a star.
I was like, he's huge. Let's see. He posted on his story. We have the video.
I saw this.
He posted on his story saying,
follows me.
He's like, now here's a podcast. Me. Yeah, he follows us both, I think. He goes. Now here's a podcast that I can get behind. He goes, they sent me some killer cigars and a bottle of scotch. He goes, that's awesome.
And one day you're gonna meet him, and he's gonna know exactly who you
are.
Like,
let's podcast.
Yeah, let's podcast. Now, granted, this was 2020, so this is before he was popular.
Now he's huge.
Now he's fucking ginormous.
You gonna show the video or
no? I just posted the video a couple of days ago, but let me see.
There you are.
There you go, Bert Kreischer.
Yeah. Boom! Look at that,
brother cigar, baby.
That's dope.
In the flesh.
That's sick. Dope. That's sick. So sick.
And on the other side, and we had one like, for instance, Ed Reed, when Ed Reed came on the show.
Yeah, that's so dope.
Now Ed Reed is a freaking
goat.
The best safety to ever play the game. Yep. Hall of Famer, right? He's the ball hawk. Okay,
yeah, dude's an animal.
And we grew up watching him. He comes on the show. As soon as the FaceTime comes on, first thing he says, "Oh, Eric, what's going on? I love you guys. I watch you guys all the time. I love your show." But I'm like,
that's crazy, man.
Whoa, wait! Like you love our show? So I grew up watching.
We're a fan of you.
I'm
a fan of you. Like you're a Hall of Famer. Who are we? We're just some guys in my pool house. You're a friggin' Hall.
And we didn't even have 100 episodes yet. This was like episode 89.
Crazy.
Oh my god!
But that goes back to what you're saying about connecting with people, and it doesn't matter who you are. Again, who you are, where you're from, what you believe in. You could be the next Elon Musk. You could be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
You could be a guy who shines shoes for a living. You connect with that person. And you sit down, you have a cigar, you have a great conversation, and you become friends.
Yeah.
All different walks of life.
Dude, we built I said this when I spoke to you guys last, like we built our business on cigars, man. Like and it's also like with the content, like when you start putting things out there, you never know the impact that you're having on somebody. Like I'll never forget the best YouTube comment that we got was a kid commented, and like obviously if you scroll through your own comments, you probably get like just an asinine amount of comments on shit, and people say wild stuff. But we get this one comment, and this kid wrote, I have a screenshot of it. He wrote, "Hey guys, I've been going through like a lot of hard things right now. Like my grandma might not make it, but your content is getting me through my days." And I was just like, "Yo, like
screenshot, reshare.
We're making a difference. Like we're like I like,
and that's it. And that's just one person.
That's just one person. You don't know how many people tune in daily, weekly, monthly, whatever it is, to watch you because maybe they just want to smile, maybe they just want to laugh. Like you don't know what you're doing,
and that makes it all
worth it.
It makes because people don't realize like that. Okay, we just post an episode every week, and it's an hour and a half every Friday, but they don't realize that it's hours. Like we're here. Eric comes over every Wednesday, and we're filming from 5 to 8 p.m. or 4 to 8 p.m. And then it takes 4 or 5 hours to edit it. And we're posting and we're making reels. Like there's so much behind it. But if it just changes one person that you know about, right? Because that one person decided to comment. But how many other people are just enjoying your comments, your content, and not commenting?
Dude, I think we might have talked about this before, but like Gary Vee's most viral video is him eating blueberries.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a video. Have you ever seen the video of him? A woman came up. This is an old video. I'm surprised he hasn't resurfaced it. But it's an old video of a woman comes up to him and goes, I need to tell you that because of you, I didn't kill myself. Do you understand that, like,
you
this
saved
guy,
somebody's life?
Like, you saved someone's life. Like, how many millions of people, maybe hundreds of thousands of people's lives that you could potentially have saved?
Yeah.
Like, you never know. So, like, that's why, like, as much as people want to badmouth social media and things like that, you don't know how many people you could potentially be helping. Like, there's people, like you said, that tune in every week to your podcast, and you have no idea that it could be helping them through maybe the hardest time in their life. They'll never tell you.
Yeah.
But if you stop, you're letting someone down. So, like, I tell people that we work with all the time, especially when you're putting out valuable content. Like, I talk to, like, realtors about this. I'm like, every time you don't put out a piece of content talking about something that can educate someone on real estate or showing, like, a new listing or something like that, like, you're not selling real estate. You're selling dreams, because when you put out a listing or you do a walkthrough of a home and someone's interested in it and they reach out to you and they buy that home and then they have a family and they have kids, guess where all those memories started with? You just posting that on social media, and it's free.
Yes.
It took you what? I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours of your day
free
to go shoot that video, edit, post it, someone buys it, and now all of a sudden that person can always remember you, because if it weren't for you putting up that video, they never would have saw this house that now their children grow up in. Like, that's the part of social media that people tend to forget.
Absolutely.
And that's where it becomes super powerful. So
absolutely,
like I said to you guys before, like, I give you guys all the credit in the world that, like, you guys are just so consistent, and, like, yeah, you could talk about, like, tips and tricks. It's like, I tell people all the time, create, edit, post, repeat it. Like, I want to get a shirt that says that, like, capture, edit, post, repeat. Because if you keep doing that, you don't know who you're helping. Like, we talked, like, you guys met Nikki. Like, Nikki Cass said, I'm just trying to make people laugh, man.
Yeah.
that's it.
He's a super humble kid.
Oh,
really
yeah.
humble.
Super humble. I didn't realize how young he was.
It's just
23.
providing. It's just providing value, right? That was the biggest thing that the no matter who you look at as your like social media guru,
Yeah.
they all say provide value.
The biggest brands in the world don't do any hack shit. Think about
I'll tell you
that.
guys this, right?
Value.
I've seen this a few times, but they go, look at Red Bull's social media page. What do they post? Life, moments,
Yeah.
things that happen. Nothing about Red Bull. Nothing at all about Red Bull. It's about all things, aspects of life, business, family, whatever it is, whatever they post. But it's not one thing about Red Bull.
Yeah, because now you associate the moments and the adventure and the memories with Red Bull.
Yeah,
that's because you think of Red Bull and you think of Red Bull gives you wings. You think of Travis Pastrana jumping out of an airplane.
Yeah.
You think of the Hot Wheels car doing it back. You think of all these like extreme adventurous things. You're like, that's what Red Bull. So like you're an adventure, you're seeking. You think of Red Bull.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really unbelievable. Like, when you really break it down, it's just like, it's just so hard for people to see that, because everyone's just chasing things.
Yeah, they're
that
chasing
the number one question people always ask, like, "Oh, you're on YouTube. Oh, you have how much? You guys make? You just make money? You guys, how much money you guys
That's all
make?"
anyone asks
I
us,
know.
bro.
I just got asked that today. He's like, "Don't mind me if I ask. You make any money on YouTube? Like, how's that going?" And I'm like, the YouTube and the podcast is really more just like a marketing platform for our cigars. But
that's actually it's funny because we just had a conversation. This Eric and I we try to talk every single week, and sometimes we had a plan for like every Monday we're going to talk, and and then sometimes it like winds up being on a Sunday or winds up being on a Tuesday, whatever it is. But we try to talk every single week, and we'll have conversations for an hour and a half. You don't even realize it.
Yep.
And we just start talking about things. So Eric had called me earlier this week and like, all right, we got to what's the next step? We have the next cigars coming, blah blah blah, and we were game planning about like saying, okay, well, what's like, obviously we're a business. Okay, and we're in business to make money. You're not in business to lose money. So what aspects of our business are the money makers, and then what aspects of the business are not the money makers, are more for marketing and brand awareness? And we came to the conclusion, obviously, the podcast, we don't make money off of the podcast. As much as people like, listen, if you're listening right now and you're watching, we don't make money off of the podcast. Right? Yeah. We don't advertise on this podcast and make money.
We thought we were going to.
We don't make money off of YouTube. We don't make money off of Instagram. Like, we make very, very little bit. Okay. Yeah. But that's not what this is about. This is about brand awareness. It's about bringing people together, connecting people. And the best way to do that is through social media. What does make us money is doing events and selling cigars.
Yeah.
Like so that side, you double down in one area of, okay, this is how we make the money, but how do you grow the brand? You don't grow the brand by selling a cigar. You grow the brand by networking and podcasting and social media. So one aspect is the marketing, brand growth, and the other aspect is
are you going to be at that poker event next week? And
I'm doing a live podcast there.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, okay. I think we'll be on that.
I think you guys are on it.
On this topic. So yeah, we're doing the cigar networking event with you guys next week, and then we're doing that poker event at the yacht club,
the 12th. Yep.
So I was talking to Pat Haggerty, who's running it.
Yeah.
And I remember him telling me about guest speakers, and he's like, yeah, we had Rick Paterno once, we had this guy. He's like, I think we're gonna have like the congressman or the senator or something from New York to come.
Yep.
And in my head, I'm like, that's kind of boring. No one wants something political there. So I was thinking, I was like, how can we, like, do we have any local guests that maybe can contribute? And I thought of, you're a Jet fan,
yes,
Eric Coleman.
That's how. See, now it makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't know he got him from you guys.
Yeah. So
now it makes sense.
I talked to Pat and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about this, and he goes, oh my God, that would be great. You think he would do it? You know how much you call him? I said, listen, I don't know. I said, I have his number. I'm just going to shoot him a text. So I shot him a text. I said, hey, this is, and he goes, yeah, I would love that opportunity. Sure, put me in contact. I'm like, all right. And then a week or so goes by, and I get a text from Pat. Yo, he's going to do it. This is awesome, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, it's all from networking.
All from this.
All from this. And
but people
and it's
don't
wild too,
see that.
And it's so wild, too, because, like, go back 4 years ago when we first started this. If you would have said, yo, you're going to be friends with, an NFL NFL veteran, like a very well-known NFL veteran. He's gonna come to your house. He's gonna be drinking. Like, I'd be like, you're out of your fucking mind. Like, you're gonna, and then you're gonna connect him with future business opportunities. Like,
you don't know where that's gonna go.
I'd have said you're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Now you go fast forward. Now I got Eric. Now I got his freaking phone number. Like, hey, you want to come over? Yeah, I'm coming over. We're gonna have.
Do you guys work with
It's fucking
staying on this topic?
Wild.
The new restaurant in Scarsdale, One Rare or a steak.
So Tony's very close to the owner.
Okay.
They're potentially signing on with us, but yeah, we go there all the time.
Because my buddy from college, he messaged me and he was like, hey, my really good friend opened up this restaurant in Scarsdale. Is this close by you? And I was like, yeah. And he followed me and he goes, yeah. He says you have a mutual connection with this guy Tony. And I was like, yeah. I said, we're going to be doing this. We do networking events. We work with them. We're friends with them. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, that's who you do it with. Oh, and I started talking to him more. I'm like, yeah, you should come to the event on Tuesday. Come to the networking event. And then I think his name is Amir, right? And I think he's coming to the event on Tuesday. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, you'll meet him on Tuesday. You guys can connect. But I'm like, shit. It's just another connection.
But you know how hard
it's so wild. Like you're a huge Sopranos fan. If I'd have said 4 years ago, yo, you're gonna have the Sopranos on your show and meet them.
That's crazy.
No. And it's like I got a picture of them right there. They signed.
And that's not even because of.
Yeah.
It's just I just find that it goes back to, like you said, connecting with people, and I find it's such a social media is such a blessing and a curse, depending on how you use it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It could be a curse if you just doom scroll all day long, right? But the ability to be able to connect with so many people, I could sit here on my toilet and connect with somebody in freaking Japan,
France, it doesn't matter.
In Australia, in freaking Zimbabwe, like
it's a beautiful thing,
unbelievable.
It's so difficult though. So like what you guys were just talking about, it is so hard for people to understand that and comprehend that. Like
they don't want to hear it.
No, they don't want to hear. They want to be like, how much money you make?
They want the glamorous. Like, oh, you have 1 million followers. Oh, that's amazing.
And you know what they don't want to hear? You know what they don't want to hear? And how many times do you have to tell this to people when they said, okay, I'm thinking I have this idea, and I'm going to start on social media, and I this is what I want to do, and you come to them and say, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to start, okay, and it's going to suck for like 3 years, okay? And you're going to have to post every single day, twice a day for years.
Yep.
And then you might start to reap some of the benefits. But you're going to you probably ask them, are you willing to commit years to this? Yeah. Because once you start,
here we go. See about the
and they go, I don't want to. How do I fast track it? Like, there is no fast track.
No.
It is years. This has been 4 years for us. It is day after day after day. Posting,
we're almost
creating.
The same amount. We've almost been in. So you started February 2015. We started the podcast February 2019. We started the podcast July of 2019. So
so right on part. And like I explain to people all the time, I'm like, look, it's taken me 5 years to figure out what type of content works for my brand.
Yes.
I didn't know it was going to be snack time and food and comedy. I had no idea.
Probably had 15 ideas.
Dude, ideas.
Snack time.
If my girlfriend was here right now, she would say to you, this kid literally would every day I'd say to her, what do you think of this idea? What do you think of this idea? Did it like idea after idea after idea. And eventually sometimes things just happen organically and it occurs. But I got to give a huge shout out to my boy Joe Rock. And I'll never forget this. When we first started Why Not You Media talking about consistency, he works a full-time job, but he loves music. He's a musician and he loves hip hop. And I said to him, I go, look, are you willing to sacrifice the next 5 to 10 years of your life making music with no gain? And he said, I'm willing. He just hit 5 years in a row he does a thing called Merc Mondays. 5 years. Every Monday, he's done a Merc Monday.
And where is he now?
He's just skill set, opportunities, different producers he's met, different beat makers, sound engine. Like his network is growing. But like I said that to him. And you know, I said that to a lot of people. Like, are you willing to put in the work for X amount of time? And some people say yes, most people fall off. This kid kept going. And for people to understand that, and he probably gets asked all the time, why do you keep doing it? Mm-hmm. Like, if Kanye stopped, if Elon stopped, if all these people stopped, we wouldn't have them.
Well, you listen to all the entrepreneur stories that made it. They all have the same path. I didn't make shit. I took out 20 credit cards. I was in debt. I
broke,
had no money. I was homeless.
Living in my car.
It all starts, and some people get it and some people don't. And I always like the analogy of like an iceberg. You know, people, and they can compare it to, they see the tip of the iceberg, but they don't see the huge amount of ice underneath. Right. And that's where everything started. And you have a little piece above, and that's where the success is. And
I compare it to like fitness, right?
Oh yeah.
Everybody they always say, you know,
I always use fitness.
People come up and they say, okay, you know, how do you like get in shape? Or, you know, women might ask, how do I get nice legs and a big butt? I said, squat and eat right.
And do it every day.
Do that. Do that. You know, exercise, eat right. How do I get in shape? How do I get healthy? Exercise and eat right. And they said, I don't want to do that. I'm like, well, there's literally that's it. Like that is the formula. There is no secret like workout and I have to do this certain number of reps. No. You exercise regularly and eat healthy. You do that over and over and over again for a long enough period of time, you will be in shape. If you're a woman and you want a big butt and thick legs, squat and eat healthy.
Yep.
Not every day, because you obviously can't squat every single day, but do it like 3 times a week. Eat healthy. Do that for 6 months and watch where you are. No. I'm just going to get butt injections. I said, that's not sustainable.
But that's the microwave society that we're in, man.
Because everybody want the instant gratification. I said, first off, you're going to do that, but nothing's going to change. Okay, like your diet's not going to change, your lifestyle's not going to change. You do the injections, right? And now nothing looks proportional. People notice. They go, okay, you just paid for that. You didn't earn that. But when you actually change your lifestyle, now it's sustainable because you've created a whole new way of life. And this is what I do now.
Yep.
Now you can just continue on, and it's sustainable, and people respect you more for it because you can tell when somebody has a fit body that they worked hard for.
Absolutely.
Now I know. Now it projects into other aspects of your life. You want to go do business? If you're looking at a business partner and you see somebody who's fit and he's like 45 years old and he's fit and he's got a wife and kids and a job and he's still fit, you're like, I know what it took to get that body. And I respect you for it because you earned that body. So now I want to go into business with you because if you can do that in your personal life,
translates.
What can you do in your business life? But then if you have somebody that doesn't take care of you, you're like, well, if you don't take care of yourself,
why are you going to take care of this?
Why are you going to take care of this business?
Yeah, it translates, right? And
100%.
And people, like, I love when we talk to the people, and it's like, so a big thing that we talk to clients about is that the importance of connecting and sending out messages and cold DMing and, you know, just trying to connect with people. And it's like, oh, I sent out 50 messages and it didn't work. 50 messages. You need to send out 1,000 of them.
10x that.
10x an hour.
Yeah, you need 50 an hour. It's like, but people don't, and that's why, though, at the end of the day, people are the 1%. The 1% is the 1%. I remember seeing a quote. It's like, champions do every day that ordinary people do once in a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
if you really want to be the best at something, you need to do it every single day.
Yeah,
like,
live.
You have to live it.
Yeah,
It's an obsession, right? And like for people to wrap their heads around that, they don't want to put in the work. The average person, people are naturally lazy. If everyone could, they would love to just sit on a couch all day, scroll through Netflix and not do shit and get paid for it, right? That's what people want to do. But when people work and work hard and they're consistent and they're grinding every single day and then they eventually make it, quote unquote, people will say, oh, they'll find some type of excuse to bring that person down. Because I've learned quickly being in business is that people below you will try to pull you down. People above you will try to pull you up.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that's why it's so important.
It's like crabs in a bucket.
Yep. And that's why it's so important to get around people that are going to actually encourage you and tell you and give you your flowers while you're alive. Like they're going to say, I'm proud of you, because not many people are willing to do that. Everyone wants to like make an excuse and say, oh, well, they were given this and they were given that and they got lucky. No, motherfucker, the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yeah.
So it's like, so like, is it that hard for people to like wrap their heads around? Yeah, it is, because you know why? Most people are fucking lazy, fucking whatever you want to call them. And they just want to make an excuse, and it's the victim mentality.
Oh, that's a plague.
Oh, and
right
I can't
now.
stand it. Like I have this conversation with my 19-year-old cousin all the time, and that motherfucker goes to school and works 2 jobs. And I'm proud of him every single day, because it's like most kids his age are not doing shit. They're just going to school and like they're gonna maybe do something, maybe figure it out, or they want to try to become a TikTok star. Like that's the big thing now. It's like, no, you gotta work. Even if you want to be a TikTok star, you gotta work at it.
Yeah,
you know,
you
like
gotta be putting
create
in
content.
The hours. And so many people, when you put in that work. Right. And I say this all the time about like sports, like for, when I have kids, I'm putting them in sports. I
have to.
I played sports, and I think that sports are probably one of the most important things that translate into actual, like to real life. Like, dude. So when I always say this, listen, I'll put my kid in sports, right? And let's say he goes and he tries out for a team and he doesn't make it. And he comes back. What do parents do nowadays? They say, they
call the coach.
They call the coach. Yeah. Why didn't my son make it? I'm going to sit down with my son and say, why do you think that you didn't make the team?
Yep.
Well, I don't know. No. Is there anything that you could have done better?
Yep.
Well, maybe if I would have worked on my dribble. Okay, so on off season, you're going to work on your dribbling. Let's say basketball.
Yeah.
You're working your maybe. Do you think that you could shoot? You could be a better shooter? I think I could be a better shooter. All right, we're going to work on your shooting, and you're going to put in the work that requires you to make the team. Now, when you actually make the team, you know that you earned it.
Yep.
And instead of saying like, oh, I'm going to call the coach and get you on the team, and now it's like, all right, I'm entitled, I got a handout. No. Now you put in the work. You're a better player for it.
Yep.
And now you earned that spot on the team because I put the work in, and now it feels so much better as opposed to me just handing you some participation.
And that's why I don't get with parents when parents do that. Talking about just teams, right? If a parent makes a call and all of a sudden their kid just gets bumped up, one, what does that say? Who's a parent? 2, you're setting your son or daughter up for not.
Well, you're just saying
that's not real life.
That's not real life.
Now the kid's like, I don't get what I want. I can just complain about it, and then I get handed it.
There's winners and
not
losers.
How
that's
life
just setting
works.
up them for failure.
And when
you
when you go through now, let's say now he tries out for the first team, doesn't make it. I say, listen, you got to work, or let's say he's not getting playing time. All right, let's go back to the basics. Let's work harder. Let's work harder. Now he gets playing time and he loses a game and he's losing the games. So all right, can you get your team involved more? Let's work harder. And now you finally get to a point where you win and you win the championship. Or you have a team where you lose one year, you lose the next year, you lose the next year. Now the fourth year, you finally win the championship. Now it feels so much better because you earned the championship. You earned the feeling instead of just saying, you know what? Let me make a phone call here. You complained, here you get it.
Yeah.
No, it's worth more because you failed and failed and failed and
the
failed.
biggest winners and the biggest failures, man.
You know
That's
what
it.
it's like
100%.
to fail. You know what it's like down here, and you experience it over and over and over again. And now when you finally win, you're like, man, that's so sweet. I earned it. I deserve this because I put the work in and I earned it.
The problem that occurred is that you brought up participation trophies. It's look, there are winners.
I'm gonna
and
take
losers.
if my son ever gets, I'm gonna throw it in the garbage. You didn't earn this.
There's winners and losers.
This.
There's winners and losers in life, man. And unfortunately, that's just the reality of it. But it's like now they're giving. Oh, you came in 8th place. It's okay. Let you get a trophy too.
No, it's not okay.
No, fuck that. At the end of the day, it's like, you either, like you said, you earned it or you didn't deserve it. Right?
Exactly.
So it's either you're going to work hard and try to become the best, or you're just going to be in last place. Like if you perfect example, you had an NFL football player on here. He didn't get to the NFL because mom and dad made a phone call.
Exactly.
Right? He worked his ass off. You weren't there when he was running sprints and doing this and doing that. I knew there was a problem. Like one of my buddies is in the Navy, and he told me once that like he heard through the grapevine that the Marine Corps during like the what's it called? Like the boot camp,
The bus training?
To try to become a Marine. There were parents calling drill sergeants. Like literally calling down,
right?
Like saying that you're being too hard on my kid. Like, are you out of your mind? That
probably punished him even more.
And like, look, I'm not a parent. But I'll tell you something right now. The way I was raised is that you get knocked down, you get back the fuck up, and you figure out how to get where you want to go.
Yeah.
Like, there's no like, my mom wasn't calling nobody, my dad wasn't calling anybody, my grandparents weren't calling anybody. It was like, all right. You didn't make the team, or that didn't work out. You didn't win the game. Figure it out, get better, and get back out there.
100%. You lost. All right. You don't want to lose anymore? Work harder.
Change the outcome. You actually could control the outcome by working harder.
Yeah, work harder.
Like I love this story. Like Tom Brady, right? Even you don't have to be a Patriot fan, but you have to respect greatness, right? Tom Brady was what, 6th round draft pick,
199.
Yeah, looked like a fucking string bean.
Ran like he actually ran a faster 40
at an older
than
age.
he did at his combine.
Yeah, because he's in better shape now.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but like if you think about it, this man played over 20 years in the NFL, and he played every season with a chip on his shoulder. He was 43, 44 years old when he won his last Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He played with a chip on his shoulder because he said to himself, you know what? I was picked here. I'm never going to allow that to happen again. Now he's considered, if anyone of any generation was creating a football team now, who's in the conversation? You're either taking Tom Brady, and some people might debate and take Patrick Mahomes just from an athletic ability standpoint, but the chances are you're going to build a team around Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And that guy was not the most athletic, not the most talented, but he worked harder.
I always tell people, if I was in the NFL or an NBA or whatever, I was in a professional sport, I would have the same mentality as with Tom Brady saying, I'm very talented. I don't need all the money in the world, because I always think all the time, if I can be just as good, but I'm on a team sport, I need good people around me. And I always think, why do these guys need $150 million? Why not use some of that money to bring
Brady
Francis
actually,
and Justin?
Yeah.
But that's what he does. That's what he said. He's
Take a pay cut.
Pay me X and use the other money to bring in this guy.
He took signing bonuses.
And I'm like that, and I don't get why more top of the line athletes are not doing that.
Because it's about a me. It's not about a we.
Yeah.
And people are like, I want to get my accolades. It's like, all right, great. You got your $100 million, and now you're happy, but your team didn't win a Super Bowl. No, it goes back to look at Golden State, right?
Yeah,
the Golden State had the best record in history, 73-9. It doesn't mean shit because you didn't win a championship.
Yeah, people don't remember.
Mean shit. People don't remember 73-9, no championship. They don't remember that.
Look at the Patriots when they went 16-1. Like it's like people at the end of the day, they don't remember how much money you made. They remember your accolades and what you did on the field. Or in this case, if we go back to social media, no one remembers how many views, how many likes, how many comments, how many followers. They remember how you made them feel. And like if you have that mentality, that is a winner's mentality, and that's what's going to progress you. So like back to what you guys said before, how do you break the threshold? Do more, get better. Take that quote from Tony. Do more, honestly, get better.
What you just said.
We're gonna end on that note.
What you just said. What you just said is a great. I think it's the best way to end it. You said it doesn't matter how many followers, doesn't matter how many likes, doesn't matter how many views. It matters how you made people feel.
That's what they're gonna remember.
That's what they remember.
That's what the whole conversation is about.
If you're listening or watching and you haven't listened to anything we said, take that. People don't remember how many followers, how many likes, how many views, how many comments. They remember how you made them feel.
It's all about the connection, baby.
And look, goes back to what we were saying with Adam Sandler. We're going to remember his movies, but why are we going to remember them? Because they made us feel happy.
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Do more, get better, baby.
Do more, get better. That should be a shirt.
Yeah.
Do more, get better.
It probably already is.
It's probably
but that's going to say, why not you media? But Francis, We appreciate you, brother. This has been a great conversation. It's been a great podcast. We're finally glad we got you in here.
Yep.
I want to give you the red carpet. Just kind of plug away for everyone to find you on social media, what Why Not You Media is doing, where they can find you, how they can get in contact with you.
Absolutely. So on all platforms, at Francis Volpe, Francis Volpe. Why Not You Media is YNOTYOU Media. If you enjoy food and like to laugh, Snack Time TV on YouTube. Check us out.
You know what time it is.
You know what time it is. Check us out. But what we got going on, we got cigar events that my business partner Tony runs. June 20th, we run probably the biggest golf outing in the tri-state area with vendors upwards to, I think we have over 50 confirmed right now. We're going to have 288 golfers, and we expect over 1,200 people during cocktail, and it's all for an amazing cause with Blythedale Children's Hospital. So if you're in the area, if this, is out there, please come by. It's going to be an amazing time. You can network for some of the top entrepreneurs in the whole area. We have people that come up from Florida for this event. So it's going to be amazing. But what we got going on is do more, get better, baby.
I love it.
Do more, get better. We're gonna send off on that, Francis. We appreciate you, buddy.
No, thank you, boys.
We'll see you next week. Cheers.
Yeah.
Chin chin. Salud.